Okay, well, I think we'll make a start. So obviously ladder one was, the topic was long exposure, and our judge for the round was Terry Hahn, who is a commercial photographer based in the Wairarapa. Terry has spoken to the club before, he has assessed for the club before. We ended up with only 20 entrants to the round, which was quite low based on what normally. I don't know whether it was the fact that everybody got a hit of the virus and decided to self-isolate ahead of time. But what we do is I've got them set up through a Lightroom catalog, which I'm going to share my screen with everybody, and hopefully this will sort of work. So we'll just give this a go.
Hey.
Very good.
It's Chai.
Cool.
Right. Okay. So you can all see that quite clearly.
Yep.
Right.
Good.
Okay. Right. I'm just going to go and put this on, hopefully on full screen. So
What was the category for that?
what was that?
What was the category?
This is all open as long exposure.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, everybody bar me entered into set categories, so there's only one that's in the open category.
I actually didn't know it was open.
Okay, so this is called Shay 1 by Cheryl Gallagher. And the judge's comment was, love the colour, lighting and movement, and he questioned whether the effect had been created with a lens baby, which I know Cheryl hadn't, because I don't think you've got a lens baby.
No, way too technical for me.
Yeah, okay. And he gave this a commended.
Very good.
Okay.
Nice.
This is Shay 2, also by Cheryl.
That's lovely, Cheryl.
All right.
Thank you.
Now the judge's comment on this one is not as nice as Shay 1.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
I thought it was good.
Good.
Yeah. There always is a danger when you submit two images that are very similar into a competition that a judge will actually grade them against each other rather than as independently.
Why?
Okay. What I sort of said right at the start is these first 4 images are in the intermediate grade. Okay. Our next image. This is to the title To the Beat of the Drum by Chris Crawford.
Wow.
Judge's comment was, I enjoyed this image for its bold color and blur of movement. It's all about repetition, in particular the seagulls. I like the square crop, but the pear could have been straightened up though. And this wasn't accepted. I guess what he's referring to is that.
Yeah.
No.
No, that's cool. Good comment.
Yeah.
I'm just going to get a camera, everyone. So I'm coming back.
Okay. This is Twilight, again by Chris Crawford. This image is borderline accepted. The image needs to go further than a straight snap and is urged to look beyond what they see in front of them and experiment with the camera more. Okay. So that is our intermediate grade, and now I'm going to jump into the advanced grade. Okay, this was entered into the open category. This is mine. It's the dressmaker. This received accepted. Much thought has been put into the set and visual narrative, leaving the viewer with questions. The lighting, although directional, illuminates too much of the scene. One feels the candle should be the source of illumination. Lightening and darkening parts of the image may help to achieve greater move. Overall, an interesting storytelling environmental portrait. And that was accepted. Accepted. This is Over the Weir by Brian Harmer.
Very nice.
Nice one, Brian.
The author has captured the beauty of flowing water, and together with motion and the subtle tones and soft texture that blurred water produces, the tranquility on gazing at the scene is ripped away from the viewer by the harsh gravel bank and the sharp bushes to the right. And this received a merit.
Oh,
Nice. Almost looks abstract.
Mm.
right.
Beautiful.
The Lagoon, also by Brian Harmer.
Castle Point.
Well-controlled sky and interesting seascape. There is a missed opportunity. There's a missed opportunity here. Moving forward to the edge of the water would perhaps create a more pleasing foreground with the inclusion of the wet, shiny sand area, which would mirror the sky. And that was accepted.
Paul, I just see in the chat that Evan's trying to get in.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah.
He's drunk again.
Okay.
Brian, was that taken on our Castle Point trip, like
Yep.
2012? Yeah.
Many years ago.
It looks the same tones as my photo. Mm. That was when you guys locked me in, just saying.
You lock yourself in.
I was having a nap, all right?
Yeah, having a nap, right? That's when Richard caught his car in the sand.
Oh, what's that?
Yeah.
No? Bloody sand, eh, Richard?
Or you've muted yourself.
Oh, turn your
Okay.
microphone.
Right. Sorry about that. Okay. You seeing the next image?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. This is called Enduring by David Coxon. Very well executed blur waves here, making a dreamy landscape that I find relaxing to look at. And this was commended.
Well, you didn't mention the highlights. Goodness gracious, I thought they would do. Rough.
Right, this is called Freedom by David Coxon. Love the contrast in the blurred background. The motion of the dog is great also. However, the form of the animal a little distorted. Very worthwhile trying this again to see if a more pleasing and flowing shape could be achieved with the dog, which would in turn add to the viewer's empathy with the subject. And it received an accepted.
What about the artistic part of it?
Okay. Water nymph.
What the hell? Get out of here.
Oh, is this the one where you broke your leg, Paul?
Not this one. This Renaissance-style nude has been shot with a great deal of empathy to the subject and the setting. Credit should be given to the placement of the subject, the balance, lighting conditions, and the speed control used to slightly blur the water, which is in perfect harmony of the delicate skin tones of the subject, which gives the overall image a painterly quality. And that was merit honours.
Nice.
And that's mine, yeah.
Mm.
Hopeless.
COVID-19 by Phil Benz.
Good on you, mate.
Lovely contrast here, but the cold and warm tones, the deserted pier and the busy port. Accepted.
Gee, that was nice.
Speeding Through the Forest by Phil Benz. A good abstract blurb with motion. Accepted. Sedona with Susan Kane.
It ain't here.
A well-controlled image where the appeal is in the contrast between the silky flowing water in the foreground and the solid rock forms in the background. The low angle was a great idea and adds well to the image perspective. Commended.
Yeah, you on yet? No, you're not. Can't see you.
Okay. Tuscany Hilltop Village
Can't even hear you.
with Susan Kane.
Boy. So you
Very
can,
dramatic.
so you can snort. I should mute myself too, actually.
Yeah.
Right. Good control over exposure here. However, a relatively easily achievable tourist snap. And accepted.
Ooh, harsh.
Hi, Evan.
Okay.
That
I'm going
was
to
so
attempt to pronounce these. I
Beans
might
with a
get them
G.
wrong.
What?
Hava Supai Falls by Greg Kane. Superb motion in the waterfall and the pattern and colour in the pool below is beautiful. Less is more in this case. By cropping out most of the surrounding landscape, I was able to focus more on the motion of the waterfall. It also accentuated the area around the waterfall, where the rocks also appear to be dripping down towards the pool at the bottom. Please try this with this image and see what you think. Have fun. And that's an accepted. Light painting by Greg Kane. Love the dark background and the shape is interesting. Accepted. Caught by the light. The author should be rewarded here for capturing something that creates intrigue, whether a happy accident or contrived. It provokes an emotion as well as leaving the viewer wanting to know more, or at least making up his own story about the image. And this got honours for Chris Parkin.
Wow.
Oh.
Gee.
Te Awa, Karangi and Norbert Street footbridge. This looks a little blown out on my screen, but giving the author the benefit of the doubt, I took it into Photoshop and reduced the exposure. I was rewarded with a fabulous landscape. If a photographer was asked to photograph that bridge in a creative way, then they could not have done a better job. Black and white was also a good choice for this image, and that's commended for Chris Parkin. Point Howard Wharf by Rob Vanderpool. A good balance at dusk and accepted. And our final image, Sea versus Rock by Rob Vanderpool. Nice movement and rock form, but needs something more to move up the scale, and that's accepted. And that's the 20 images, folks.
Wow.